Whenever you're ready.
Okay, I'm going to call this meeting to order. This is the Board of Equalization Special Meeting. Today is Monday, July 22nd, 2024. It is 9:30, and notice of this meeting properly was posted on July the 9th, 2024. Roll call, Mr. Brett Town.
Present.
And I'm Eleanor Thompson. Ms. Sellers is out on medical, but we have a quorum, so we are able to conduct business. We have two items before the board. I think it's our last two business person. BOE number 550 and 551. So we'll get that. Property owner or their representative on the phone.
The number you have dialed is not in.
That's not a good way to start.
The number you have dialed is not in service. Please check the.
You have a number?
I do.
Say it to patients.
469-298-1594.
It's 465.
Wrong area code?
Good morning, Katie Andrews.
Nolan Williams.
Yes, may I speak to Nolan Williams, please? Hold on just a moment, please.
Put on your glasses. I'm kind of on my glasses. Okay. We say Nolan Williams.
Good morning, this is Nolan Williams.
Hello there, Mr. Williams. This is Ms. Thompson calling from the Board of Equalization in Oklahoma County. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful this morning. How are you?
We're great. So where are you?
My name is Nolan Williams, and I'm with Katie Andrews and Company, representing Cactus Drilling, and I am based out of Rockwall, Texas.
Where's that?
Rockwall is actually, it's probably about 15 minutes just east of Dallas.
Oh, okay. All
Yeah.
right. Okay.
We're on one side of a big lake, Lake Ray Hubbard.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, that's where we're at. So,
Okay.
and I actually live about an hour east. So, I'm an East Texas country boy.
Okay. All right. Well, my daddy's from Longview, so that'll be okay. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so we have two properties. We have to take them separately. And the way this works, because I'm not familiar with your name, so I don't know if you appeared in front of us before, but you get to go first and tell us why you want us to set the valuation of your client's property. And then we hear from the assessor's office, and then we give you the last word. We don't decide today, we decide tomorrow, and then we will notify you by mail. So if you're in East Texas, it's probably maybe Thursday or Friday, you'll get a notice from us as to how we set your value.
Okay, perfect. Thank you for that explanation.
Okay, and we have to take them separately. And the first one on the agenda is BOE number 550 with the account number of P3061673. Okay, what would you like for us to set the value? Tell me about the property. Are these all drilling rigs?
No.
No.
So my first question is, were you able to get the packet information and a couple of things I sent in this morning along with my signed affidavit?
Well, we got what you sent in before today. Just go ahead and tell me what you want to tell me.
Okay, this morning, so I've been working with Chris Whipple there at the Oklahoma Assessor's Office.
Yes.
And last week, they reevaluated some of the drilling rigs.
Yes.
Let me go back and talk a little bit more.
Okay.
This P3061673
Yes.
is actually made up of multiple inventory yards across that school district.
Okay.
We don't have a problem with any of the other values except the location at the Southwest 15th Street. And there was Chris sent me, trying to look at the date. On Wednesday of last week, they reevaluated the drilling rigs that are sitting there. We've got 8 rigs that are sitting on site. 1 rig is actually going to be reworked and put back into operation. The other 7 are all pretty much scrap. they had been cannibalized for parts. As they need another part for
Yes.
another rig in Oklahoma or Texas or whatever, they just come in and take that.
Okay.
So Cactus is in the process of getting ready to scrap all these rigs. So the adjustment factor that we were sent on Wednesday that did reduce the values on each of these rigs were placed at a current market value or replacement cost new, and then had a 30% adjustment factor, meaning they knocked 70% off of the value in reference to the information that I had sent them. Our argument is that there's only about 10% worth of value on these scrap rigs that are sitting there. Some of the information that I had sent in from this morning from Cactus shows that they've scrapped a lot of the similar rigs in Odessa, and they're getting anywhere from $38,000 to $50,000 in scrap value on those. So if I go back and I put a 10% factor on the scrap rigs themselves, then just on the Southwest 15th yard, I'm coming up with a lower value. And I know we're talking the account in whole, so I'm going to give you the overall a breakdown of the Southwest 15th, and then tell you what my opinion of overall value of P3061673 is.
Okay.
The revised value that I would like on the Southwest 15th Street, when you lump all the rigs together, is $3,568,177.
Okay.
And then when you add that with all the other inventory locations for 3061673, I come up with $8,160,392.
And that's what you want us to set the value at?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
That's my presentation.
Okay. So let me hear from the assessor.
Good morning. We relied heavily on task to assess these values. The original value that was given to tax rep was $37,111,215, and then the latest rendition that task provided last week was based on those rigs and a stacked factor that task uses in-house, but that value is $20,421,914.
Okay. Are you disagreeing on this? Is the biggest contention the Southwest 15th location and whether those 7 rigs are just down to scrap?
Yes, it's. I believe it's 8 rigs, and I think that they are saying they're scrapped, and
Well, 7 of them.
7 of them. I'm sorry. Oh, that's right. And then task sees it that they are just merely stacked,
Okay.
and they still have the rig value.
So are they,
Is this a fact pattern difference? Do you disagree that they are scrap salvage, pilfering, cannibalizing?
I don't personally disagree. I think that's what task believes.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say, did you do a field assessment recently on these, or just?
Task asked me to provide them with some aerials, which I did. I don't have those handy. I didn't think that.
That's fine.
But that's all that I provided them.
Okay, so there wasn't a field assessment looked at these to?
Not by me. No, sir.
Okay. No one in the office though?
No, sir.
Well, we are way 8 million to 20. That's a big disparity. Okay, so
Can I correct the value real quick?
yeah, you get the last word. Which one of these you gonna change?
No. What I wanted to bring up, Chris, and if you'll take a look, and I think it was just maybe there's 2 segments on the task detail. that make up this 3061673.
You're right.
And I believe the current value now is not 20 million. I believe it's 22,020,781.
That's correct.
I just wanted to make sure that was straight on the record.
So, where you're 2 million off, Chris, say it again, 22 what?
22,020,781. And Chris, if I'm incorrect, please correct me. I apologize. I just want to make sure we had that right for the record.
But we still got a differential. That's 14, still a $14 million differential, right?
Yes, ma'am. I just want to make sure that the value that the county had now was on correctly. Even though it's going up, I want to make sure we were all 100% correct on everything.
Well, you get the final word. So you're actually saying there's no hope for the 7 to ever get put back into service. And he's saying TASC took that into consideration. Now, if they took that into consideration, that means that there's a lot left of those rigs that you're not recognizing.
Exactly. And as he stated, TASC has a stacked factor.
Yes.
Which there's another rig sitting there, and it's rig number 145, and it is truly stacked. That's the only one that they are going to rework and put back into commission.
Yes.
And it has a 0.7 factor on that one, which I'm not really arguing that really so much, but to say that the other rigs that are cannibalized and there's bits and pieces there, to say it has a stacked factor is incorrect, because they are not stacked. They're all tore down, they're laid down in the yard, and there are multiple components of each of these rigs that are major components that have been extracted.
And it's Cactus's testimony that these rigs are going to be salvaged.
Yes, sir. And I actually have an email from Cody Annen, A-N-N-E-N, where he discusses that, and I sent it this morning. I apologize I didn't get it in Friday. I was actually in Alva, Oklahoma for a Woods County hearing almost all day on Oklahoma. So I couldn't get that back in to send in until this morning.
Okay. Just wanted to get that on the record.
I don't know how fair this question is. Are aerial photos good for figuring out if something has been cannibalized?
Is that question to me?
Well, either one of you. I know we got drones, and drones can just about take the place of somebody standing there on their feet.
Yeah. I've looked at the aerial view, and you can look at each one of these rigs. The mast is still there for each one of them.
Yes.
You know, the part that's there.
Oh, right. Sure.
But if I look at each one of those, for lack of better words, I'm going to say piles, the piles that are right with it, you can see a variance of assets that are with some aren't with it. So to say they're all, valued the same and all have the same parts and all, should have 30%, I don't think you can justify that even by an aerial view.
Is it true that metal prices on the market as a commodity, it matters not where they are? So the Oklahoma scraps, the Oklahoma values are going to be the same as East Texas? Because you talked.
Yes, ma'am.
Is that true?
Yes, ma'am. And Cactus did send in their email that I tried to send in. It said they're getting closer to it looks like $300 a net ton is what they're getting scrapped currently. Now that doesn't really help because I don't have the weight on what's actually sitting there, to do a calculation. But he did send it, and I've sent this on, so I hope it makes it to the board maybe by the time you need to make a decision. But there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 6 rigs in Texas, and the information I sent in, it shows the rig numbers, rig 101 all the way up to 124, and it shows like rig 124 is the newest that's close to anything in the Oklahoma yard, and they cannibalize that.
Well, I'm looking at that. It's 51,900.
Yes, ma'am.
And
yes.
And what do you want me to know about 124? It's like,
I didn't know if you had that in front of you, so I wanted to make sure the board knows that's what they're getting for scrap on that cannibalized rig.
and, but you want us to tell me that that's like which one of your rigs that's, at the Southwest 15th location?
It's very similar because, rig 121 is very close to that, 125 is. And if we look at the task detail, rig 121 is on for 1.629. Rig 125 is on for 1,955,000. And even at my 10% calculation, I'm at 195,570 on each one.
Okay, you've got a 10% calculation. Which calculation did the assessor use on his?
They're using the full replacement cost new from task and then a 30% reduction.
30% reduction. Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry, I apologize. A 70% reduction. They're saying it's still 30% good.
And
And I'm saying it's percent scrap good. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. If there's nothing further, I'll close. You got something else, Brett?
No.
Okay. So I'm gonna close out the hearing on BOE 550, and we'll open up the hearing on BOE 551. So tell me what you want me to know about 551.
I would like to formally withdraw my appeal on that.
Okay.
Since we received these values all in kind of one lump sum,
Yes.
this is it's a small inventory yard. I think it's a Warren Cat location at 4501 West Reno Avenue, and we don't have a discrepancy in that.
Well, okay, because we're actually at the hearing and I've opened it up, we need to agree on a value. So Chris, tell me, what did the assessor have on this one, on 551?
213,476.
Okay, I'm gonna entertain a motion that by agreement of the parties, the value of BOE 551 is $213,546.
I'd like to move on BOE 551 that we set the fair market value of this property by agreement of the parties at $213,476.
I'm gonna second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, it was nice to meet you. And
Thank y'all very much.
we'll make a decision tomorrow and you'll be notified by mail.
Okay, thank you. Y'all have a wonderful day, and I appreciate your time.
Oh, sure. And listen, can I ask you a question, a personal question? Can you tell
Yes,
me, how did your hearing go in Alva? Was it set up similar to ours or not?
It was. Now, I personally appeared in Alva, and I'll tell you exactly why. We're looking at a $277 million assessment that's been under litigation for 4 years. But I did go there. It was set up very similar. Very similar. You know, we did the same presentation. We got to go first, and then we had some rebuttal back and forth. That board is very engaged. So there were, with it being that much value, we had some huge gas plants there.
Yes.
There was a lot more detail that we had to really entertain and get into. But it was set up very similar.
And did they decide that day, or are they going to write you later?
No, they decided that day.
Were you satisfied?
But I will tell you that I travel to boards all across Oklahoma. I've worked Oklahoma for 18 years for our company.
Okay.
There are a lot of them that do similar to you, that won't make the decision. You know, they want to sit back and chew on the information and have discussions back and forth before they make a decision. So I've seen it both ways. And, there's a lot of time even if I was a taxpayer there or being a taxpayer rep, there's a lot of times that I would really love to know what the value is going to be before I walk out. But the ones that have told me, hey, we're gonna discuss this, we're gonna chew on it, as long as they don't go back and discuss it with the assessor or the assessor's office without us around, I think that's a great idea, just to make sure the board's job is to make sure they treat everybody fairly and they do what's best for the county, with the information that was provided. So if they want to take additional time to really put that in front of them and discuss it, I don't have a problem with that at all. I think that's great. Okay. Well, thanks for the information and nice to meet you. Maybe we'll see you again next year. All right, hey, hopefully not, but hey, if we do, I'll just come up, I'll come up next time.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank y'all.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye, bye.
Okay, anything further?
Move to adjourn.
Second, all in favor? Aye. Okay.